Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to America First Insight Unfiltered. I'm your host, Mark, and I'm here with my co-host again, Real. Sup, Real?
Hello, I am back, everybody. Welcome back. I'm glad to be back to the show, and there's a lot to talk about today. It's been a very eventful week, let alone day, actually. It's been very eventful.
Exactly. I say we start off with the everlasting game of politics and people switching positions, and that's going to start off with Senator Mitch McConnell will finally be retiring from politics after 40 years as a senator. That is insane.
Just rip Bozo, honestly. I don't get why anyone ever liked that guy. Like, I'll be honest, I don't understand the appeal of Mitch McConnell.
The only good thing Mitch ever did was get all the judges through. If it was not for that, he might be the worst politician of all time. But he got a lot of judges through, and that's the best thing he has ever done. But that is insane. So Mitch McConnell was first elected to the Senate in 1985.
Oh my gosh.
It was halfway through the Reagan presidency, for the record.
He's actually a turtle. He has lived forever. This guy is, 83 now?
Yes, I think he's 83, and on his 83rd birthday, which is today, he announced he was not going to seek re-election. This was a basically expected move, especially after he said, I'm not going to try and become Senate Majority Leader, which is a good thing, because he had been the leader of the GOP Senate for almost a decade or more, I think.
I think it was 2012 he took over.
Yeah, so more than a decade, and he's been like second in command of the GOP / in charge of the Senate GOP since I think 2003-ish. So he's been in charge of the Senate GOP for a very long time, and it's going to be a new era with him not even being involved in politics anymore shortly. We've already seen how well John Thune's been handling with how many appointments he's been able to get through very fast, which is nice to see.
I mean, John Thune, all he did was just try. That's all he's done. He's just tried, and he's already way better than McConnell. He's not perfect, but at least he's like working with Trump. He's working with like the more conservative wing the party. He's actually doing stuff. So it's a good combination of things Thune has done. He just demonstrates how worthless McConnell really was. I mean, especially when it comes to getting stuff done outside like judges. He's actually getting appointments through ASAP. But I think the real test is going to be, how do Republicans do without McConnell running the money? Because that's always been the problem. You get Mitch McConnell running the money, and well, we saw what happened in 22. It didn't go too well for us.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing without McConnell and his donors. A lot of his donors are just going to give it to whoever's next in line. But McConnell was a very big player in allocating money. He helped give Larry Hogan, for example, a bunch of money in a race that was completely unwinnable, that probably cost us a Senate seat in either Michigan or Wisconsin. He also gave a bunch of money defending Lisa Murkowski in 2022, and that almost certainly cost us the Nevada seat. So it's going to be interesting. And another thing, and I think this is under-talked about, when you are in a midterm, the leaders of your party in the branches is important. I think their favorabilities matter a lot more. John Thune sits at like a +2 national approval, and I think Mike Johnson's at like a -3 national approval. Mitch McConnell was at like a -50, -40 national approval. So I think there'll be a lot more ease with Americans going to the ballot box in 26, voting for a senator, knowing that, hey, it's not going to be Mitch McConnell in charge.
Yeah, it's anybody McConnell. I still think that hurt Republicans a lot more than people think.
I agree. That has got to be a tough sell to Republicans and independents going, hey, so Mitch McConnell is going to be basically in charge of the guy you're voting for. That's a tough sell.
Yeah, I mean, even like Thune, it's like, which I'm still surprised by Thune. He's actually been pretty good considering. But it's like, at least with anybody else, you could just say, oh, well, he's a generic Republican. Everybody knows McConnell's a backstabber. Everybody knows he's a scumbag. Yeah. So it's like, how is anyone going to vote for that? Why would anyone vote for that? And that's what happened in 22. and even 21 with the Georgia Senate races.
Yeah, I mean, McConnell straight up threw the two Georgia Senate runoffs by not allowing the checks and whatnot.
Well, remember, they blamed that on Trump. Trump tried to get the checks through, and that dumbass was saying, no, actually, we don't need the checks. We already spent too much money on crap. That doesn't matter. But we can't give money to the American people.
Oh, but don't worry. The second the next omnibus came up, he was willing to spend money again. That's another thing I hate about the Senate GOP is how many of them tally the whole, and this is maybe a thing with the whole Bush to Bush era of the GOP. How many of them went, we are for small government, and not once did they shrink the government. Trump has been the one shrinking the government, not them, not one of them. It's you see it with like Joni Ernst in Iowa. She's like, oh, I love Doge. I fully stand for what it supports for. She also has voted for every single omnibus bill that has increased spending in her entire career. Like, come on.
I mean, these people, I don't think any of these people ever voted for a bill to shrink the government.
No, I don't think so.
Ever. Like, outside like Rand Paul and maybe like Josh Hawley, I can't think of any Republican really that's actually like voted against this crap, like consistently.
Yeah,
but that's been the problem for years. It's like, yeah, you want to be small government, but they never do it. But the second Trump comes around and says, hey, we actually have small government, these same people are mad about it. Like John Cornyn sort of hissy fit about it, I guess, which he claimed he wasn't. But it's like these same small government people. The second you get someone that's actually doing it, they're mad. They're frustrated about it.
Because they were in on the deal.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be real. They were all in on the deal. But with the Kentucky Senate seat opening up, there's probably going to be 3 people, maybe 4 people that run for it. You're going to have outside businessman Nate Morris. He's been strongly hinting that he's going to run. I don't know too much about him. I'm going to have to do some research. But from what I've heard from other people, he would be everyone is an upgrade over McConnell, but he'd be a solid senator. That's what I heard. Congressman Andy Barr is also saying he'd be interested. He has like a D- on our scorecard.
Bad.
So I would like him to run so we can upgrade his House seat, and then I would like him to lose the primary. That's what I would like to happen.
He's better than McConnell, I guess, but is that really saying much?
Everyone's better than McConnell.
Yeah, it's like, get somebody that can breathe, and somebody that doesn't have a stroke 24/7, then yeah, he's probably better. But...
And then we'll have the 2021? No, not 2021. 23 governor candidate Daniel Cameron will probably run, almost certainly in my opinion. And I don't know how I feel about him. I'm like, I think he has good ideas, but I also don't like a guy who touts being like Mitch McConnell's protege in some sense, so I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, the thing McConnell, or Cameron, I should say, he has ties to McConnell, like you were saying. That's the one concern I got. Though, to me, he just seems like another John James type. It's like, he's just Mr. Generic Republican.
I mean, it's also tough, like, when Mitch McConnell has such control over the entire GOP, it's really tough to move up in the politics without being connected to him somehow. So, it's interesting. And then there was Mr. Thomas Massey today asked a poll, like, what would people do in his situation? Stay for House, run for governor, run for Senate. And I think it was at 74% to run for Senate. So there's a little bit of energy for Massey to also become the next senator of Kentucky.
Listen, I'm fine with Massey. I don't hate the guy, but I have concerns. Like, I don't really want another Rand Paul type in the Senate.
Yeah.
I love Ron Paul. I think he's great, but Rand Paul and Thomas Massey are just like they're kind of like the cringier versions of Ron Paul. Ron Paul's actually good and libertarian. Rand Paul and Thomas Massey, I don't even know what you call them. More like Lolberts, probably. Maybe,
but that would be interesting. So we might maybe have 2 House seats up in Kentucky and a Senate seat. I think Massey will stay, but you never really know. Kentucky having 2 basically libertarian senators is kind of right up their alley somehow. But
you would not think it would be Kentucky, especially with it being a Democrat state for years.
Yeah.
You would think that would be the libertarian stronghold, but that's what it seems like. I mean, you got Thomas Massey, Rand Paul, and
they're pseudo libertarians. That's the reality of it. They're the most successful libertarian politicians in the country, probably. So But yeah, so that'll be interesting. Then we have in the state of South Carolina, Nancy Mace continues talking about statewide issues very loudly. She's running for something, whether it's the open seat for the governor or the primary Graham. I don't know. I'm leaning towards the idea she's going to run for governor, unless Trump specifically is interested in her being the next senator.
I was going to mention that because Trump's not happy with Graham right now.
Yeah.
He's not happy with him. So it's kind of weird to see like Trump actually supporting Nancy Mace now. I mean, imagine saying that 3 years ago. That Nancy Mace, like the most pro-Republican, or most pro-Trump Republican, like the South Carolina delegation. But it's like, she may actually run, and I think she would win for the governorship. For against Graham, though,
I don't know. It's always tough against stuff like Trump's endorsement would have a lot of weight, but it is always a question of resources. But this is an ever-changing party with more and more donors realizing they gotta be America first-esque. So
I'm assuming that Elon Musk would probably get involved.
Yeah, definitely. I would assume there'd be a lot of money, especially if Graham continues undermining the Trump administration. I think Musk would be fine dropping whatever millions and millions it takes, because a Senate primary race is probably 20 to 50 million, I'd say, somewhere around there, depending on how much attention it gets.
And you don't have to spend anything for the general because,
it's South Carolina. So, yeah. So that I'm like 95% certain she's gonna run, which means there's gonna be another open seat in South Carolina, which South Carolina has an excellent delegation. Underappreciated. I think they're all A's except one person, and of course the Democrat obviously is a super F, but very good delegation of congressmen, surprisingly. Moving down a state, we have we have Florida, where just minutes ago, before we went ahead and started this podcast, Trump basically formally endorsed Byron Donalds to be the next governor of Florida, which I expected, especially seeming how Donalds has kind of given off the energy he wants to run for governor. And he's pretty charismatic, and he's got a good voting record, so I think he's going to be the heavy favorite to win.
Yeah, I mean, the people on Twitter, they want, like, Casey DeSantis, which, I mean, I don't... Listen, would they really run Casey DeSantis against Byron Donalds? Would they be that dumb?
I don't think so, but I kind of get their point, because Casey DeSantis' governorship really is just extending Ron's terms, just circumventing it, but I think it's a bad look for the GOP, and I would just rather get Donalds, and I think there are greater things for the Florida GOP to worry about other than a big primary battle coming for the governorship.
These people want Casey DeSantis, and meanwhile they say like Byron Donalds not qualified, which is ridiculous. I mean, how long has he been in Congress for? 6 years?
I think 6 years, and then I think he did the full 6 years or 8 years in the state legislative. So, yeah. He's more than qualified. He also has an A+ from us, so he's going to be solid. I really hope that some of the state senators who stood up for the Ron DeSantis bill go ahead and kind of try and run for lieutenant governor. I think that would be the best case scenario down there in Florida, or down here in Florida. So, yeah. And then let's continue moving around the country. We go to Texas. In a tweet recently, where I forgot the name of the account, they said that John Cornyn needs to be primaried, and Ken Paxton goes ahead and does a little curious face emoji underneath it. So I'm pretty sure Paxton will end up running.
He's running.
So
unless something crazy happens the next couple of weeks, or months, I should say, there's no way he doesn't run. He's gonna run for that seat and win.
Yeah, I also think he's gonna win. I think all the hypothetical polling right now puts Paxton up 10 points on Cornyn. And I mean, Paxton had a lot of mud slung at him, both from the state legislative and from the Bush dynasty, and he's crushed it all. Paxton's looking a little like Teflon Don there. Keeps surviving.
Yeah, I mean,
what
that's
should
a good
kill him.
comparison. He's a Teflon Don of Texas. You throw 30 things at this guy, he gets stronger.
Yeah.
He's not slowing down, so...
I mean, reminder, he killed the last, like, chance for the Bush legacy to continue living in Texas. That's very impressive. But, yeah, I think that's everyone that we know of who's running. I think the only other thing is there might be congressmen might jump in to run for Georgia governor or something, but that also might not happen.
Well, since we're talking about, we gotta talk about Wisconsin real quickly, because we have a must-win Supreme Court election in the state of Wisconsin.
Yes.
And from everything I can tell, I think Schimmel's in a great position. That's the conservative candidate. Again, they don't do partisanship stuff, but it's really just a Republican versus Democrat. They say it's nonpartisan, but that's BS, obviously. And I think Brad Schimmel's the favorite right now. Now, not an overwhelming favorite, but right now, if you include outside spending by Elon Musk and other groups, he's outspending Democrats right now.
Oh, that's
Republican
good.
In a swing state.
That's very good.
Yeah. And for the next couple of weeks, Democrats only have like $2 million on the air, and Republicans, I think it's combined for like 10 million. I could be off, but it's like 5-1, I believe, in the state of Wisconsin. So Schimmel's basically been even for most of the campaign, and now for the final stretch, he's going to overwhelm them on fundraising and spending.
Yeah. That's good to it's good to hear. I haven't been hearing much of the Wisconsin race, but I know it's super pivotal. That would be the turning point. It would flip the Supreme Court to conservative.
It would flip
right?
the Supreme Court, and it would give us a blueprint to how to win off your elections without Trump, because that's a real thing.
Yeah.
This is
like a first test, kind of.
Yeah. This is the first election without Trump. Well, now, he's going to probably endorse Schimmel, more than likely, but this is without him on the ballot. And that's been the issue for years. Like, these Trump voters, especially in a place like Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, they don't vote. And off your elections, they just don't vote for whatever reason, because they don't like the Republican Party. But if they actually vote for Schimmel and get him over the top, that's a huge win for Republicans, because it could show you that, yeah, they can actually win off your elections without the Orange Man.
Yeah. And not to mention what that would do for the state. That would basically stop all the, like, Democrats trying to, like, lawsuit their way into gerrymandering the state, which is huge. That's
Republican.
I mean, what I think the current thing was the Dems might try and grab like two seats with their congressional gerrymandering they want to do.
Their plan is, if they somehow win, which it's possible, but I think Crawford's a bad candidate. I don't think she's gonna win. But their plan is they want to, like, split Madison and Milwaukee in half, which is illegal, by the way, but that's what they're banking on. And already they gerrymandered the state legislature, and they're trying to do the same with their Congress. But I don't think it's going to work for them.
Yeah, well, it's an important race, and I hope we can hope we can win. I think Turning Point Action's doing a super chase also. So
yep, they're calling people into Wisconsin.
Good. I think even today I got an email for Republican jobs to deploy out in Wisconsin shortly.
Yep, people here. So
yeah, so that's good to hear, because these local elections can even affect the federal government. I mean, this one election can basically give or take 2 more seats in Congress, which we have a 2-seat majority right now. So that can change the game for. Which seriously, so these are important things that people need to pay attention to.
Which, speaking of the House, I mean, like, the Democrats in Wisconsin, take us what they're running on. You can't make this up. Just take a guess.
What's their agenda?
So they first ran on democracy, like January 6th. I'm not even kidding. In the year 2025, they ran on January 6th.
Interesting.
And now they're not even hiding it. They're saying, if we flip the Supreme Court race, we get 2 House seats.
No, they're just actually campaigning on
they have fundraising emails. They're saying, if you donate to me, I'll give you 2 House seats for free.
Wow, that is something. I'll tell you what, no GOP would even bother campaigning on that privately.
Yeah. I mean, like, Crawford, she's a Madison judge. It's not a surprise to anybody she's doing this, but that's what she's in her record as a judge. Disastrous. But she doesn't care. She's not even pretending to be a fake moderate. She's running as a progressive Democrat in Wisconsin, which, not a good thing to do, but that's her plan.
Well, yeah, like I said, this is a very, very important seat. I'm glad you brought this up, because these seats are just always important. I think there's still the lawsuit in North Carolina with their Supreme Court election or something. So these are vital. I mean, very important. And not to mention, it's not just a political ramification, but it's also a good way for the GOP to begin testing theories on how to win these off-year elections. I mean, winning a well, I guess it's not a special election. Winning a judicial election in the middle of April, right? It's April?
Yep, it's April 1st, actually. So.
April 1st in 2025. If we won that in the state of Wisconsin, even by a very slim margin, would be insane given our coalition, and it would be insane because I think it would just demoralize Dems even more that they can't even bother to win. Can't even win.
Their only way to win Wisconsin is they need Madison to turn out. And if they don't vote, but Trump voters do, they're in a lot of trouble because Madison's like ground zero for these people. And if they lose there, it's like, that's not a good look for Dems.
Yeah. So, no, very glad you brought that up. Very important stuff. These all these local races are important. And yeah. Next, you want to discuss about Cash Patel finally getting confirmed after the Democrats delayed him?
That was I don't know how that's legal. They could just delay it like 3 weeks, but they did.
Yeah. So after a long and grueling wait, not really a battle. It was always going to happen. It's just Democrats did not want it to happen. Cash Patel was confirmed as the next director of the FBI. I think it was 51 votes for him, right?
Yep, Mitch McConnell actually voted yes.
Which I am very shocked that Mitch McConnell voted yes. Mitch seemed, I kind of thought it was going to be like a Pete Hegseth and he would vote no and it would end up being a tiebreaker, but I don't know how you vote for Patel, but not Hegseth. I mean, one's cleaning the Department of Justice, one's cleaning the FBI, so, but...
That's Mitch McConnell for you.
Yeah, average Mitch McConnell. And can we also say, I want to say this, how nice it's been that the Senate's been, one, very cooperative, and two, how good Thune has been at making sure at least everyone has 50 votes. Let's go back to Hegseth, right? Hegseth won, tied 50-50. A key vote was Thom Tillis in North Carolina voting for him, which got him exactly tied, if I'm recalling correctly. Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yep, it was 50-50, then Vance voted for it, so.
And there are reports that Tillis went to Thune and said, hey, we have the votes to defeat Hegseth, let's do it. And Thune went, no. This is what our president wants. If you want to try and do this, fine, go for it. But understand, we're not going to back you up. Now think of Mitch McConnell was still the leader. Hegseth would have gone down probably with he would have gotten like 20 votes on the floor.
He would have went behind closed doors and say, hey, yeah, we're going to vote against Hegseth. But we're going to say, this is, we were shocked by this. They're full of crap. And Thune proves that all you have to do is just have a spine. And just say, hey, if you vote no, you got to deal with Trump.
Good luck on that. That's a you problem. I'm not dealing with it.
McConnell would have just defended it and said, oh, it's principles, or oh, it's just one vote or whatever. The difference is night and day between Thune and McConnell.
Yeah. And like I said, it goes back to the idea that I think Thune will, over the long term, be looked much more favorably by everyone in the nation, especially compared to Mitch McConnell, and that'll really help convince voters in the midterms to go like, hey, you know what, Thune's all right, I'll go vote for the GOP Senate guy, whatever, rather than thinking to themselves, I hate McConnell, why do I want to empower McConnell?
Same thing with Johnson. Now, he's not perfect, he has a lot of problems, but at least people could stomach voting for Johnson. Not so much for McCarthy or even, especially Paul Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember Paul Ryan's approvals. I know Kevin McCarthy was down about -20 nationwide, and I think Johnson's only -3. Is Johnson perfect? No, but Johnson occasionally says the correct stuff. For example, today during CPAC, Johnson on Ukraine basically said, you know what, Trump wrote the art of the deal. I'm going to let him do what he did. Okay, he understands it. And when asked immediately afterwards, do you see another bill funding the war in Ukraine? Johnson went, there's no appetite for that.
Yeah.
We're not interested. And then, and I think the House is still moving a little slow, but whatever. It's our government.
They have to be careful because they don't got the votes right now. That's a problem.
Yeah, we need those. Hopefully by April 1st, we'll start getting the getting bills going because we'll have the 2 more Republicans down here in Florida. Yep. So maybe we'll be able to start doing stuff. Johnson, for example, said he wants to codify at least 300 executive orders because these need to be codified. Otherwise, they're just going to be undone by the next Democratic administration.
I'm guessing they go through the reconciliation process. I'm guessing how they're going to do it, right?
Maybe. I don't know what their end goal will be. I know right now that Trump has backed Johnson's bill. I kind of wish he backed 218 for Doge from the House Freedom Caucus, but Johnson's bill isn't terrible. As long as it's not Lindsey Graham's reconciliation bill. That one was the worst one. So, yeah, we'll take what we can get. This is fine. The Johnson bill just leaves a bunch of stuff up to be determined to be figured out what to spend it on, which is fine by me. I trust Doge and Trump, whatever, they'll spend stuff correctly. And then back to Cash Patel, kind of the law enforcement and everything. Did you see the letter that Robert Garcia got today?
Yeah.
So for those of you who aren't in the know, Congressman Robert Garcia, California's 42nd district, I want to say off the top of my head, got a letter today from the Department of Justice where the Department of Justice wants him to basically go in and clarify some comments because February 12th on CNN, he said, quote, and this was when asked what Democrats can do to stop Elon Musk, he said, quote, what the American public wants is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight.
Gosh.
This is an actual fight for democracy. And so the Department of Justice is going to be investigating this because, he's saying like, oh, if you criticize Musk, they'll go ahead and Congress will try and subpoena you and stuff. But that's not the case. You cannot say actual weapons and government official in the same sentence. Yeah. I can't. I know that for certain.
If anyone else said that, they'd be thrown in jail today. Yeah. Within a day. If that. Within an hour.
So, good to see the Department of Justice realizing like, hey, no, you can't just go on national television and even give vague threats to any government official.
This is my concern, though. And, like, obviously we got to see what happens, but Democrats, they have no clue what to do. They're so out, like, I think they've lost semblance of reality, and they really think this is their only hope. If they just triple down on, like, the insanity in their party, instead of, try to become more sane as a party. But I don't know. Like, it's gonna get kind of dangerous where, like, they're encouraging people to do crap like that because people will listen. Yeah. Some very sick people will listen to that.
I mean, if you go to Blue Sky, you go to Reddit, it's...
Oh my gosh.
I would like the Department of Justice to be emailing Reddit, hey, I need a list of accounts. I need their IP addresses. These have to be investigated. I think just today, a person threatened to go and shoot various Republicans in D.C., and they posted on their alt account that they had a gun. And as far as I know, the guy who was posting this stuff did report it to the authorities, so hopefully this gets figured out. But the Democratic Party, genuinely, they have so many schizos who feel like they're backed in a corner. It's very dangerous for them to be saying this type of stuff.
They actually believe that Trump is an agent of Putin. They believe that democracy is dead, and that this is like the beginning of like the American Reich or something. That's what they believe.
Yeah.
They actually believe it.
And I mean, if you go to places like r/Fed News, right? These people are so detached from reality. I mean, these are people who work at the IRS who thought the general public loved them. And they were, quote, shocked to find out the public hates federal agents. It's like, yes, there's one city in all of this country that likes federal agents. It's called Washington, D.C. I think every other, even major cities, still hate federal agents.
Yeah.
No one likes you guys. So.
Well, Democrats, they're trying to make that their entire campaign. They're trying to say, oh, those poor IRS agents, they got fired. It's like, who likes the IRS? Honestly, who?
Yeah, no, and a lot of them on Fed News says, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to start running for city council and Congress and stuff. I'm like, I can't wait for you guys to run like a fired like IRS agent whose goal is to bring back more IRS agents in the middle of like Ohio. Please let me know how badly you lose.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll go well with like the average voter. I'm sure they're going to vote for someone that runs as, yeah, I'm a former IRS agent that got wrongly fired. Elect me to Congress so I can hire more IRS agents to go after you.
Yeah, it's not going to work. The only place it's going to work is in these deep blue states and the super deep blue cities. And even then, they're going to have to get lucky that no local Democrat kind of bumps them off, because think about it, they're all from D.C. And they've all probably worked and lived in D.C. for a while. So it's going to be hard going like, hey, Philadelphia, I know I've lived in D.C. for the past 10 years, but vote for me, Well,
or
at least that's what I hope.
Democrat Party 2025 really believes that U.S. aid is popular. They think that government spending's popular. They think IRS is popular. They actually believe it.
Yeah, they do. It's absurd. And that's the thing. It's not only are they going to continue going down this rabbit hole where they're having bad political takes. I don't know how else you put it. But you are also having, with everything being discussed around Ukraine right now, and the Democrats are going to fall for this, to expand their party. They're going to onboard the neocons who are going to be upset about the Ukraine war not continuing for another 10 years and millions more dying, right? Those neocons are just going to drag down the Democratic Party even more. I mean, look at Liz Cheney in Michigan to campaign for Harris. Might have been the worst tactical decision I've seen from any party in the world, like, ever. Like, how do you have, like, one of the biggest warmongers going to a place that's already on edge about a war in the Middle East and have them campaign for you?
I mean, her father was indirectly responsible for how many people dying. Like 5 million people, probably, with all the wars he started.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
It is. And they're going to absorb these people. And guess what? The neocons, they have a lot of money. They can punch above their size, so they can fund stuff. And you're gonna have the like pacifist liberals, and you're gonna have the neocons look at each other and go, wait, we're on the same team, huh?
Yeah, they're gonna hate each other.
It's not gonna work. You can get that type of stuff to work for us. I mean, look at how many like Muslims the Democratic Party has gotten since about the Obama era. I think Muslims were almost 50-50 during the Bushes, and they've become almost 100% Democrat.
Yeah, for obvious reasons.
And Muslims and Jews being such major but also loud parts of the Democratic Party.
That was stupid.
It's going to become an issue. There are reports that Senator John Ossoff down in Georgia, right? First off, his voting record has not looked like a swing state person in a while. I think he's voted for one Trump cabinet pick. I might even be wrong on that.
Rubio, and I think that's it.
And yeah, I think so. And it's been reported that in the state of Georgia, right, the big Jewish Democratic donors are talking to Brian Kemp saying, hey, dude, run, we'll back you.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a problem for Dems. They have such a big coalition of people who frankly hate each other.
I mean, like, and the way they try to unite these factions is stupid. That they're just saying, oh, well, you're Muslim, so vote for us. That's the only reason they vote. Like, that's the only reason they talk to them. They say, oh, you're Muslim, so you have to vote for us. It's like, do they think that's going to work?
Apparently.
And, honestly, we asked what happens in Israel, obviously, because that's gonna be a big issue, obviously. But it's like, who are these people going to vote for? Are they going to vote for someone that's kind of trying to bring peace to the region? Or the party that went to bring the neocons that are saying, yeah, we need to bomb Palestine 1,000 times over?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, the Democratic Party, they're going to invite those people right on in. They've already done it to Liz Cheney. They gave her rather prominent campaigning, like, spots.
Yeah.
And not a good thing for the Democrats, but you know what? I kind of don't care. Go for it. Do whatever you guys want.
The coalition,
I was gonna say, look at the GOP. The second we dumped the most terrible neocons ever, we suddenly won the popular vote for the first time in 20 years, and had the biggest vote for the first time, the biggest vote in like 40 years. So, yeah, I mean, America does not like those neocons. They do not. Yeah. So go ahead. They got to go somewhere, and we don't want them.
And neocons, they don't work with any other faction. They don't.
Yeah.
Because no one likes them.
Yeah, they'll block out everyone, and they have the means to block it out. And I'm going to say political smarts to block people out as well. They would be very good at getting the normal Democrats to kind of stop participating in a sense. The nice thing is the activists who also repel normal people are too loud to shut up. So.
Yeah, so the Democrat Party, they are adopting the most politically toxic people in the entire country with the most insane parts of their party.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at this. We had a poll come out, approval for the parties in Congress, right? The GOP was sitting at -5, and the Democratic Congress was sitting at -30. People don't like what they're doing, and they ain't changing anything, and they're not going to change anything. I don't think they'll even bother attempting to change it until post-2028.
If that, they may just think we got to quadruple down again.
They might, which I'm cool with. You know, I'll take the 2 terms of Vance with no contest. That works for me.
I mean, these people actually believe what they're doing is popular, and now they're pushing their own bullshit polls. The Quinnipiac poll's garbage. That's ridiculous. Oh, Trump's no one likes his immigration policy. That's ridiculous. But now they're making their own push polls that they actually believe. Yeah.
They're gonna, and that's another dangerous thing. They have a very good habit of gaslighting themselves into thinking what they're doing is popular. It's not like Republicans are trying to gaslight them. It's not like anyone else is. They just entered these echo chambers and they spiral and spiral and spiral and spiral and spiral, and it's insane. It really is. Look at Reddit. You could watch their death spiral ever since Trump won again, because r/Texas was so confident that Harris was going to win. They're like, the energy's unbelievable in person. It's unbelievable on this subreddit. Harris is going to win. And then they lose by whatever it was,
15 points, I think it was.
15, 16
Yeah, there was energy
points.
in Texas, but for Republicans.
Yeah, and they're so diluted. They're not even on the same world. They haven't been on the same world as us since 2016, but it continues to somehow differentiate from our reality.
Because now, that's the scary part. These pollsters, they gotta just stop pushing their BS. Because now they're convincing these people that what they're doing is popular. Yeah. And if they lose another election, what's gonna happen? If they think what they do is very popular and they lose by 20 points, or not 20, but they get let's say they get killed in 2028. Yeah. How are these people gonna respond?
Yeah, I mean, so many of them already think this might be the last election they're ever gonna have, and it's only gonna continue to get worse for. I think the general plot for a very large portion of Democrats is they're gonna end up like the COVID mask wearing people who still wear masks, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna continue down their rabbit hole of insanity and just not be able to break out of it. Which is good for us electorally, at least.
But I don't like how that's gonna end up. How is that gonna affect the country? Because you can't have a third of the country actually believe this crap.
Yeah. It's dangerous, but you know what? The U.S. is pretty strong. We survived 4 years of Biden, mind you. He didn't do anything. But there was a point that the GOP was thought to be over. But I mean, a lot of that was the media trying to hype up our death.
That was the media, and that was before Trump. No, Democrats still got a Trump. They think they do, but they don't.
Yeah, they're gonna get Stephen Smith or whatever
Stephen A.
Smith. I don't know who he is, but I hear the hype. He's like a commentator or something.
Yeah, on ESPN.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a name recognition, but they're trying to hype him as the second coming of Trump. Trump was unique. There's only one Trump out there.
And there will only be one Trump. There will never be another politician even remotely similar to him.
Vance, who I think's gonna do better than Trump, by the way, in 28. But it's Vance might be the closest.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, Vance isn't. Vance, I mean, he's not he's not politician, but he's still more politician-like.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously he was a senator, and I've only seen him in suit and ties. I think I've seen one vacation photo of him. But he's smart, but he's also MAGA and America First. And the whole thing with the Democratic Party with the Stephen A. Smith or whatever is that might work for the younger voters that you're losing, but I can guarantee you these GOP boomers you've been slowly winning over are going to go,
Well, I don't think he would a primary now because he said he's against transgender stuff.
Then he's DOA.
Yeah, he's already done.
Yeah. I think 2028 will probably end up being a sacrificial-esque lamb, purely because I think the good candidates are not going to be interested in running. Like, I think Wes Moore will eventually take the Maryland Senate seat and just wait until it looks more open or something. Because
I actually agree with that.
I think that is probably their best candidate. I think Wes Moore's the most, in quotes, competent governor. He's not the worst governor.
Outside of Shapiro, probably.
Yeah, but Shapiro has a problem of being a white Jew. So,
well, I mean, you're not wrong.
He can probably get vice president. Maybe he could win via superdelegates. He's not winning via unless the Democratic Party figures out that they got to get back the Jewish vote, in which case then they'll probably just end up losing the Dearborn vote and then just constantly losing Michigan again, which also works fine for us electorally. Honestly.
I still think that was the dumbest mistake they ever made. They should just pick Shapiro. I don't get why rumor was he didn't want it, but like, why did you pick Tim Walz?
I love how Walz's county flipped to the GOP for the first time in years.
Tim Walz, though, he's gonna flip. Keep Wisconsin blue. He's gonna flip Iowa because Ann Seltzer said so.
Yeah, I think the Democratic Party has removed so much of like normal masculinity in all formats that I don't think they can perceivably find someone who would appeal to young males. Or males just in general. They got to get all these, like, wimpy guys in charge, like David Hogg as vice chair.
When David Hogg is your vice chair, and Malcolm Kenyatta, and that loser from Nevada, that's your vice chairs, and your chairman's the Minnesota chairman, who's a nut job? That's your four leaders?
Yeah, it's bad. They are in for a fun time. I really am interested to see the Democrats' main messaging going into 2026, because right now it looks like their main messages will be fraud is good and illegals need money. And I can't say those are winning messages.
Yeah. And the IRS is needed. We need to expand it.
Yes. We need more illegals to take your money. We need the ability to take more of your money, and we need to be able to take that money and line our pockets with it. What a great trio of messages.
I got a gut feeling they're going to get killed in 26. Because down ballot, I mean, Republicans are not that popular, but at least it's like kind of 50-50. Democrats are in the low 20s at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they are definitely doing pretty good. Or the Republicans are doing pretty good. This is, I think, the most favorable the GOP has been in decades.
Ever, possibly.
I would say probably ever. I mean, we have a Senate leader who's approved by the majority of the nation, +3. That hasn't happened in like 20 years. Our House leader's like -3, -5. That's more popular than every choice we've ever had before. Yeah, these are just good for us, you know. It's a lot better than it's ever been. Our prospects for 2020, if there is a time for Trump to break the tradition of losing the House while the incumbent president, this is how you would set it up. This is as good as it's gonna get. So, yeah, it's the overall a good feeling. I mean, people love Doge generally. People don't like corruption. You know, did you see there was like $2 billion earmarked from, I think, the last days of the Biden administration's EPA that was going to go to the Stacey Abrams NGO that only made like $100 a year before or something.
It was so obvious, but they thought if they hit it good because they thought, oh, there's no way the Doge would actually look at this. They're just going to look at the grand scheme of things. They're not going to go to the fine details. That's what I think happened.
Yeah.
And they realized, well, it's more so Dana Republican found it. She was the first one to realize that, oh, wait, we have a big problem here. But, you know, that was just a last-ditch effort. Because it turns out that U.S. aid was a big, and the government spending as a whole, that's a big reason Democrats had fundraising advantages every year.
Yeah. They just got so much money. And it is an absurd amount. And that's what we can trace. I think Elon Musk went ahead and said that there was like 4.7 billion or trillion. I think it was T with $1 trillion in the treasury that was just said to be for miscellaneous, not really marked what it was spent on. And it's like, okay, so where did that money go? We don't know. We'll never know. I can guarantee you it's in someone's pockets.
Somebody pocketed it. Now, if it comes out that they actually use that money to like win elections, that might explain a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll know within like 2026. We look at the fundraising numbers and we're suddenly even again or whatever.
Well,
and we go
look,
like,
Wisconsin. Like I said, Wisconsin.
Look at that. Our NGOs close, and all of a sudden the Republicans could be on par or actually be ahead of the Democratic candidate.
I noticed this, by the way. The numbers before USAID was shut down, all that stuff, Democrats were slightly ahead. But after that, they've been getting killed. Which makes you really wonder, where's all that money going?
Yeah, I mean, there is so much fraud in Act Blue. It's so shady. I think Jason Myers of Virginia is still investigating Act Blue. It's an incredibly like shady and corrupt donation.
Yeah, it's people that they're not they don't even know what the Democrat Party is, and they're giving them $10,000 a year, like 20 different people, and they're not giving money. Actually, it's like, where's the money coming from?
So, yeah, that's definitely interesting. I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I mean, if it continues, if especially by like the end of 2026, we look at the election results and go like, hey, you know, the GOP was like on par with the Democrats in terms of funding, or just straight up outspending them. I think more questions need to be raised on what's happening with that money.
That explains a lot because like I've always wondered, it's like, how do these people keep getting like exactly $1 billion? The Democrat Party, the same donors give them exactly $1 billion every year.
Yeah,
it's like, where's George Soros?
How is a party where like their biggest supporters were like broke college kids beforehand? Like now with the amount of like boomers they have, I can kind of see liberal boomers giving them a bunch of money. But like when their biggest audience was the broke college kids and the guys on welfare, you know, it's like,
yeah, where did the money go?
Raise that much money?
Obviously there's big donors, but it's like that doesn't explain how it's just so overwhelming because Republicans got big donors as well.
Yeah, I mean we had the bigger donors for quite a while. Like the GOP was a party over Wall Street, and we got
even with Elon Musk, they outspent us.
Yeah.
So I mean, like they have a lot of money that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, a lot of money that suddenly has disappeared ever since we've shut down the biggest money laundering system in the world.
Well, that's how they do it. They just say, "Oh, here's $1 billion for this this nonprofit for election integrity," or some BS like that.
Yeah, and all these NGOs and everything. Such a disgusting, corrupt scheme. But it's amazing how, you know, the day we're recording this, it has been exactly 1 month since Trump's been in office. And how much he has changed and fixed just with the signing of some paper. It's amazing how much of the decline of this country has basically been by choice.
It was managed. It was a managed decline.
Yeah. I mean, what he's doing is both revolutionary and not at the same time. He's, a lot of it's like, hey, you know, maybe we shouldn't waste money. Hey, please go do your job. So it's absurd. I also like, and this goes back to the Democrats' messaging for 2026. I like how they're calling Trump a dictator for wanting to bring the power of the bureaucracies back to an elected official. Because Trump went ahead, signed that EO where he's like, hey, so the president and the attorney general get to interpret the laws in terms of like regulatory powers, not the unelected bureaucrats.
Which is the point of the executive branch.
Yeah, and everyone's like, dude, he's a dictator, you know? Now we have someone we can hold responsible for these new regulations? That's insane. That's such a dictatorship, you know?
Meanwhile,
Politico.
Meanwhile, they shill for Zelensky, and they celebrate the fact he's not having elections, which makes you really wonder.
Yeah, I mean, it's so obvious they thrive with that fourth branch of government, of those unelected bureaucrats, you know? So they... Politico today was like, Trump signs order to claim power over independent agencies. It's not independent agencies. It's unelected bureaucrats, part of his branch of government.
Yeah, if you have these independent agencies, you're screwed as a country, because how do you deal with them? If they're independent, like the three branches of government, you have checks and balances. Now, there's some issues, obviously, like with the judicial system, but it's like, at least you got checks and balances. What do you got for this fourth branch of government? Yeah,
I can't go. For all my life and all my dad's life, he couldn't go into office and unelect the bureaucrats. You can't do that. You know, Trump's the first one to actually do something about the bureaucratic class, and people are tagging for it, and it is what it is, man. I think the Democrats are going to have a poor 2026 at this rate, especially if they continue this type of messaging, which I think they will. I mean, Trump's approval in our thing hasn't gone down yet.
Yeah, well, now they're trying to push like I said earlier, they're pushing the BS polls now.
Yeah, that's why for like something so important, like favorability, whatever, I'll include the bad polls for now, I guess, but with approval, because it matters so much, only trusted polls get in there, and his approval has not gone down yet.
Well, I began looking at it, and others have too, but it's like Gallup, for example, they used to be a good pollster. Like, they found like a -7 for Trump, and like they're claiming Trump is hated on immigration.
Yeah, I think he had equal approvals on high school or less. True, so true.
Well, it turns out all these polls that have these sudden collapses for Trump, nearly every single one of them was getting money from the government.
Yeah,
which explains a lot.
Yeah, so. It's interesting. So, I think that's it, except that you wanted to go ahead and talk about the Pope, if I recall correctly.
What?
Didn't you want to mention the Pope?
Oh yeah. So, for those that don't live under, or for those that live under a rock, the Pope's not in good health right now. And it's sounding likely that we're possibly, not a guarantee, a lot could change, but there's a chance we could see a conclave later this year, which means we get a new pope. And it's going to be very interesting to see, because it's rare. It happens like once every like 10, 15 years, maybe. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm hoping personally, again, I'm hoping Francis makes it, but if we get a new pope, there's some very conservative ones that I'm hoping for, like Pope Pizza. That's his name, actually. I know that's how you say his name, but it's like, I like the name, like, oh yeah, Pope Pizza from Italy, which that's a perfect combination.
That's a very good combo.
Yeah, a couple other ones, like especially in Africa, there's some very conservative ones there. So yeah, I think overall we're going to see a more conservative pope, which again, Pope Francis, they make it sound like he's a liberal. He's not. But
he could be way worse, but it could be better.
Yeah, well, the thing with Francis is he's more, compared to other popes, yeah, he is a bit more liberal, but they're making it sound like he's pro-gay marriage, but it's like, no. He is not pro-gay marriage whatsoever. So, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. We're not going to know for a little bit if he actually makes it, because there's been some conflicting reports. It's like, they're being very vague, like, oh yeah, he ate breakfast this morning. He woke up. It's like... when they're that vague, it's...
Yeah, that's not great. If I also recall, I remember reading somewhere that the first time Pope Francis was in the hospital, there was a bunch of photos while he was in the hospital, and I think so far there's been none.
Yeah, there's been none. Which raises other concerns, because there's no pictures. That's usually not good. And now they bring up things like, oh yeah, he did not have a heart issue. Wait, what about a heart issue now? It's like, listen... Not good. And we'll see what happens, but either way, it's going to be very interesting to see how the new pope will be, who it's going to be. There's a lot of options, so very interesting times in the Catholic Church next couple of months.
Yeah. And we'll go ahead and finish this off real quick. Just want to say, as we're recording this, Byron Donalds tweets, President Trump is making America great again. I'm committed to working with him to keep Florida great. Announcement coming soon.
Wow,
So,
I wonder what that's going to be.
Yeah. I always loved it when politicians like have a I'm pretty sure they do it for FEC reasons, but I love it when they have to be like, announcement coming soon, and then they're quote tweeting something that basically says this guy should run for office. It's like, yeah, I wonder what that announcement will be, especially with like the exclamation mark and everything. So yeah, probably Governor Byron Donalds. He's a great speaker. I heard him at the last Turning Point thing I went to. A very good speaker, and I liked a lot of his ideas and stuff. Good voting record too. So the only thing I have my concerns about is him and Tallahassee trying to run him over. But that's why I think a really good lieutenant governor pick would be one of the state senators who stood with Governor DeSantis and like said like, no, I'm not voting for your crap bill. I think that would be a very good combo in keeping Tallahassee in shape, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that'll be it, ladies and gentlemen. My name was Mark, and I am with America First Insight. You can catch us at our website, americafirstinsight.com, or you can catch us on Twitter at AF_insight. We have lots of stuff, including a pollster scorecard. We have our official forecast coming soon. We have a congressional scorecard shop, all sorts of stuff. Memberships also coming soon. And this was recorded with my co-host, Real. Real, go ahead and plug your stuff.
Like usual, you can find me at RealPData on Twitter, Real Political Data. And of course, follow my YouTube account, Real American. I post daily. Usually good content, but I don't know. Maybe some people don't like it, but hopefully people like the content. So.
I think your content's good, so. All right. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening, and we will catch you on the flip side.
That's a wrap. Thanks for the ride. Catch you next time, same place, same vibe. We're signing off, but don't you stray. America's voice every day. Keep your